Okay, well, this event seems a little different compared to everything else that we've ever done that was chest related and even raid related. Now, at the very first beginning of this, obviously there was a little bit of bugs and enchants were changing here and there. Elk and myself decided to go ahead and test separately because we couldn't test together at the time, so we eventually came up with a strategy. I think the biggest thing with this event is getting to a point where you're comfortable actually just getting to a certain level when it comes to the raids. Now obviously I was able to do all of my own stuff up until maybe raid 500. After a while I wanted to go ahead and get some extra levels on my own, but I also noticed that I ran into some chests. Now at the very beginning obviously everybody assumed that none of the chest breakers would actually be utilized in this, and they were gravely mistaken because obviously we're encountering chests that are in the trillions, and there's multiple of them by the way. The really nice thing too about this event, if you're basically in a clan or if you're having trouble leveling up your EXP and stuff, you can actually go with your friends that are a higher tier level than you are, and you can actually share the EXP. I'm gonna go ahead and use my alt account, which has not played this event at all, and I'm gonna put some boosts on it so you guys can see. There's gonna be some snippets too where it's just gonna jump from one area to another. If anything, this probably took like under 2 or 3 minutes to actually go ahead and zoom by. But you see in that very instance, it's literally leveling up my alt account by so much. And this is also including those EXP boosts that really do help you out at the very end of the day. These can be attained through the Forever Pack, obviously, in the Trade Plaza for gems. And if you're lucky enough, you might be able to get them through the gift bags that you can get from grinding this event. The nice part is if you're leveling up your alt account or if your friend is joining you, you actually get a ton of upgrade tokens as well. So if you guys want to go ahead and do that, that really does help you out at the very end of the day, and better yet, your clan members, especially if you guys are just barely starting today or if you don't plan on starting until maybe next week, aka this starting Monday. So here is the biggest thing: enchants. What works, what helps, what's going to help you at the very end of the day. I think this update is so unique considering the fact that not every single enchant is going to work for certain levels. Once you start using certain levels at like level 1 versus to level 300, you'll notice that there's going to be a huge difference on what's going to work and what's not going to work for you. I ended up hitting that point with this enchant loadout where I was using this for some time, and obviously I was able to bring Tsunami inside of the event section. Somehow there is a way to actually do this. Once I got into this point, you can tell how easy it is to break stuff, and I'm not having any issues with it. But we're gonna get into a point where I hit the billions, and it was taking a little bit of time. This was before any resets were done and any nerfs and changes, stuff like that, were made to make these a little bit more easier for everybody else in the game. Granted, at some point, I started to realize, okay, certain books aren't working for me, and I don't know if tap teamwork actually does work. Me and Elk had a debate whether or not it actually showed, and it actually was working. Mage as well, so I'm gonna go ahead and speed this up. As you can tell, this is sped up by 6 times, and it is still taking a hot second. But now that I've reached around past level 400 inside of this section, and obviously beyond, I can go ahead and test this out with Mage officially. Mage is beyond 1000 rooms now, and I'm gonna be quite honest with you guys, this is where it actually begins, the difficulty of this, and you probably do need friends in order to do this with, otherwise you're going to struggle at the very end of the day to break this. And even with myself, with rainbow shinies, golden shinies, rainbow and shiny pets, and even a shiny Titanic and another Titanic equipped with me, this did show me that this is going to be a little difficult once you pass those 1000 rooms. Okay, so this is the final room for what Mage has created for friends. Now, as you can tell, there are 4 or 3 giant clover chests. These are the ones that do have a ton of HP on them. The smaller yellow ones, they're a little bit more forgivable, but these, however, we do have 3 people inside of this event section who are breaking this. Okay, this is where enchants do come in handy, and a lot of them. And now with the event itself, I believe it was Connor or David that basically said that they can't wait to go ahead and see what you guys do as far as creating your very own. And I believe this is going to be unique to absolutely everybody. So I, at some point, decided to go ahead and actually get rid of the fireworks enchant because this is not going to help me out at the very end of the day anymore. So I'm actually going to go ahead and replace that with another chest breaker and see how that works out. Now, obviously, this is going to be unique to how I want to go ahead and set up my stuff. This may or may not work for other players, but I do notice that the chest breaker, the corruption, the demonic book, and the tap enchant, when it is boosted, does help out a lot. Now, this could be granted given the fact that I do have shinies, rainbow shinies, titanic, stuff like that. This might actually help the fact, as well as a really good stat pet. And we'll go ahead and get into that here in a second. So we reloaded into a new room, and this one actually has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these chests. As you can tell, corruption does activate. Obviously, you are going to need it when you are in here. I know there's a lot of players that might have a little bit of debate whether or not they actually think this does work or if it helps, but it does actually help, at least for me. So I'm going to go ahead and let this speed up so you guys can visually see everything. So now I'm gonna go ahead and go through my own rooms. Now obviously, since I've already been in the past 1K rooms, I've unlocked absolutely everything pet wise, but Elk still sent me something which I really appreciate, and it is this thing. Oh wait, did I already hatch one? He was so happy to tell me that he got 2 rainbow ones, and apparently I hatched one. Oh my god. Judge, I need gems, okay? After this whole stupid fiasco with the Titanic cards, okay? Bruh, everybody's teleporting to it. You know you want to buy it. It's 450 million gems instead of 500 million gems. Just buy it! Dude, I am the only person who's selling it, and everybody is literally... Everybody's teleporting to it. It's so funny. I am the only person who is selling it. I am controlling the market for Rainbow Pot of Gold Cat, dude. I am literally controlling the market for this stinking thing. You know you're gonna buy it. You know you need it. You know you want it, dude. Oh my god. Just like that, it's sold. Oh my goodness, that was the best thing ever. So if I am going to start a raid by myself, this is basically what I end up doing. I will basically use this. I have 3 chest breakers. I have 1 critical, 1 corruption, 1 demonic, 1 tap power, and then obviously super magnet, because I can't really think of anything else that's going to really help me out at the end of the day. And then on top of it, I'm going to use this, which is the damage booster, the XP booster, which, you know, obviously it is not necessary, but I still use. And obviously you don't need to use cookies, but absolutely everything that gives you points in the area. We're going to go ahead and go in, and I'm going to go ahead and explain this section here because it's entirely different. So the moment that you enter, you'll notice that the pet that you're using, which is like your stat pet, that is going to be the one that you're definitely going to want to use. Obviously, there's a reason why this is such a high demand pet. Look at the difference of the damage that it has, 2.4 million versus the one that I was using previously, which was probably this little peacock right here, and even quite possibly the clover butterfly. So obviously this is a very important thing. However, just keep in mind that this is a very hard pet to get to begin with, and there's 0 existence of rainbow shiny. So if you end up getting it just by luck and chance, it's totally up to you if you want to go ahead and take advantage of actually selling it or using it yourself. So since we're in here, we're going to go ahead and take a look at all the boosts that we have basically active in here. So we have the lucky eggs, damage, treasure hunter, speed, cocktail, and if you're using the other cocktail, that will also be active, fruits boosts galore. So now let's go ahead and basically do the rest of the raid. Ever since I got that pet, I still cannot believe I've like actually sold it for that much. I'm not gonna lie. Magically hatching one myself. I don't know how that was possible. I was editing my video, so if I had hatched it just organically on my own, I had absolutely no idea. But you see how easy it is just to go through the rooms, and this is just me having the books that I have equipped right now. And normally these rooms are going to be easy up until you reach the last section right before the chests area. And this is the one that usually has the most. But because I'm only level 575 in this area area here, I'm not gonna have to worry too much about those giant chests, not up until I actually join my friends who are beyond my actual level section. So as you can tell, we've already hit it if I can actually get in. So this is kind of where you have to prepare yourself if you are doing this solo. So as you can tell, the smaller ones are super duper easy to break and you don't have to worry about it too much. It's these larger ones that we're gonna go ahead and have to actually test out. All right, so now that we broke the other little baby ones, so we're able to test absolutely everything else as well. So I believe how the raid works is the more people that you have, and obviously the higher level that you end up getting, the more difficult that it is going to be. So keep that in mind as well. So obviously you're seeing me break this and it's like super crazy and super easy, right? And that's because of the level base, and obviously because I'm the only person in here. Usually the word is the less people that you have, aka by yourself, it's usually easier versus with friends. The more difficult it becomes, and if it's level based. All right, so we made it to the very end and we can go ahead and start opening up the chests officially now. Now this is whether or not you guys want to go ahead and do this primarily for your clan, or if you're doing this just to get to that level 9,999 aspect. Remember, at the very end of the day, this little pet and all of the boosts that you apply inside the upgrade section is going to make a huge difference. So obviously we're gonna have this last up until next Saturday before we get an expansion or some sort of news on what is going to happen with this event. So you guys have absolutely all week to do this. I, however, am a little stunned at the fact that I sold a pet for 500 million gems and it was just a regular stat pet. So if I am gonna chill here for the amount of time that I am, this is kind of where I can go ahead and just put a bunch of books up and just say like, hey, I'm gonna do some overkill. Remember, at the very end of the day, what I'm showing here is completely overkill. It is, at the very end of the day, overkill. Another thing that I do notice is your boosts are gonna completely dissipate. They're not going to show anymore because you're out of the zone area for the raid, so nothing is going to apply for this anymore other than the fact of what you have up here. So both of the luck boosts are the only things that are probably going to be active, and quite possibly maybe the potion and maybe the book. It's not 100% sure. I'm not sure, because if it's not in your boost area, then you can only assume, right? I am going to chill here. By the way, the golden eggs thing does not work. Just put in FYI. If I were to turn this off, it's going to be 14,500 per egg, and if I were to turn this back on, it's still going to maintain that value. So it doesn't really matter if you turn it on or turn it off. I keep it on and hope that maybe it's a placebo. So that's basically it. Okay, well, that was just an example of different ways that I normally do testing. As you can tell, the RNG for the very last stream completely changes on the breakables. Sometimes it'll be super easy, but then sometimes magically you'll see like 50 ginormous chests there. Only time will tell if you want to go ahead and play with friends or if you want to do this by yourself. I kind of like to do both, honestly. If you're definitely looking for that extra boost, I would highly recommend playing with some somebody who is in a lot higher tier rooms than you currently are. Right now, I am level 767. I would feel comfortable playing with somebody who's beyond 1,400 rooms. That way I can get more EXP, go ahead and get more upgrades. The more rooms you do, obviously the more upgrade stuff that you get, the higher of an upgrade that you can go ahead and put on your upgrade section. Yeah, that's basically it. Hopefully you guys have like a good time doing like your very own combinations and stuff. Whatever works for me may not work for absolutely anybody else in the game, and vice versa. If you guys have like different books, maybe that might not be the best fit for me, and we'll just have to experiment in the long run. And you guys can let me know what combinations that you guys are using for this event down in the comments down below. And until then, I will see you guys in the next video. Okay, bye.